Hi and welcome back to Joe Talks Cars, and welcome to another video. Welcome back to Twisted Automotive, where we're here today to drive a Twisted Defender. Right, I think it's about time we took this beast out onto the road. I'm not sure where we're going to go today, but I think we're going to have a little coffee run maybe to Starbucks or something. Not going to do any off-roading like we did yesterday. First of all, I've got to find where you put the key in. There it is. Whoa, it's a beast. Yeah, we are in this absolutely stunning V8 Defender by Twisted. It's a gorgeous car and it feels ginormous on the road. Look at this Audi in front. That's ridiculous. We're dwarfing this A6 in front. Gives you an idea on the size of these cars. They are insane. Ooh. And it sounds beautiful as well. But yeah, onwards to Starbucks, because it's obvious that's what you've got to do with the when you get a car, is take it to a drive-through. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. And like I said, just give my initial thoughts and impressions of what it's like to drive this awesome car. No, that's fine, thank you. Cheers. But anyway, we'll just walk you around this incredible car. As you can see, it's fitted with these massive off-roading tyres. We've made absolutely no use of these today, but even when we've just driven across this sort of gravelly area, it's just got so much grip. Amazingly, it doesn't even affect the road holding, it doesn't affect the noise or anything. It's a really quiet car to drive, actually. As you can see, it's got the side steps all in this matte black finish, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. The door handles are even a billet piece of metal, which just feel incredible when you open it. Defenders of old have always been plastic and they've never really felt that high quality. What Twisted do is they totally reimagine the Defender and bring it up to almost modern day standards. And yeah, from the back, it's an incredible looking piece of kit. Huge, with this massive off-road tyre. It's got so much presence, it's just insane. If we open her up and have a look inside the back, you will find a fully retrimmed interior. It's got a lovely boot lining covering the really plush carpets, all branded up with Defender. It's got these two fold down seats. Of course, they are covered in the same leather that you get on the Recaras up front, which I'll show you very soon. It's got Alcantara headliner all throughout and lovely tinted windows. It's just a stunning piece of kit, and the quality and fit and finish in this car is really hard to convey on camera. So when you're sat in the back of the Defender, it's got a couple of Recaros like we find in the front. Makes it a really cool thing, and it gives me James Bond vibes. It's so cool to sit in. You sit in quite an elevated position, you get a great view of the road ahead. Normally the backs of these Recaros are kind of intrusive in cars, not in the Defender. You can see all around. It's got the typical Defender windows up at the top, which bring in lots of nice light, and the whole cabin just feels really expensive. Underneath here, and this is the best thing about this particular one, is it's fitted with a 6.2 litre General Motors V8, produces 430 horsepower. But as you can see up front in this car, it's again fitted with the same leather everywhere. Everything feels really soft. It's got leather everywhere. This isn't what you normally find in a Defender. They're utilitarian, they're tough and ready to work and be used on farms. This has definitely been taken up a notch. And yeah, the leather continues all the way around each of these. Like, all this detail is what I really love about Twisted. Not only that, but they could have ripped this entire centre console out and fitted an iPad and got rid of all the physical buttons and all the things that make a Defender what it is. They haven't. Everything is just original Defender switchgear, but it all works. Everything is as it was when it left the factory, pretty much, when it comes to button placement. It's got a automatic gearbox, like I spoke about earlier, 6-speed auto, shifts really nicely, no issues there, and it's also got a low range box, so you've got your diff locks and all your usual off-roading things. I don't know how to use any of those, but apparently they work really, really well. The other things to note is, like the dials, all the little details that Twisted put into this. It says Twisted on the dials, it doesn't just say Land Rover, and they're very clear and they just work really nicely. You just feel like you're in a modern car. You feel like you're in a really, really expensive Range Rover, but it looks like a Defender. And at the same time, Twisted don't take away what the Defender is. They just enhance it ever so slightly so you can use it and enjoy it. And I just think for them saving the Defender, it's an amazing thing. So anyway, I think the last thing to do is take this out on the roads around here. We've got the car for a good few hours. Gives us a chance to test out what this thing is like to drive, because if it drives as well as it looks, I think we're in for a good one. Right, so this is a first drive of the Twisted V8 Defender. It's a super exciting car, this is. Driving a car with such a large engine and such a lot of power makes for quite an interesting prospect when you're dealing with something that essentially is from years and years ago. This technology and the style of car is very old, but what Twisted have done is bring it bang up to date. We saw in the factory tour last time I was there, in fact we saw in the showroom tour last time I was there, about how the V8 is mounted to the chassis, all the work that goes into making it strong enough so that it can handle the power. This car has 430 horsepower. That is a lot of horsepower, and I can safely say it deploys it beautifully to the tarmac. Yes, it's a little bit squirrely under heavy load when you're sustained full throttle, but it's not bad, and considering it's on these off-roading tyres, I'm genuinely blown away. The seating position is fantastic and the view out the front is just wonderful. You can see that traditional Defender bonnet and just get a beautiful view of the road ahead, and it really does make you feel like you're driving something extremely special. The good thing about taking this car out on what are pretty sensible roads, we're not going off-roading in this car, not like we did in the Cayennes, but the good thing about this is the fact that most people who buy a Defender and most people who buy these sort of SUVs, especially with V8s in them, don't actually go off-roading. This is how they'll be used. They'll be used to drive along normal roads, go to the shops, take the family away on holiday, and you could genuinely do all this with this car. It seats 6 people very comfortably. The aircon is really powerful. It's keeping us very cool on this boiling hot day we've got in the UK. And it's just a really pleasant cabin to sit in. You look at the exterior of this car and you think there is no way that will be quiet inside. You think with that slope on that windscreen being pretty much non-existent, it's going to be terrible for wind noise. And it really isn't. We're not driving particularly fast, but it's not what this car is all about. Twisted Defenders are not about outright performance and speed, it's about a feeling that you get from them. Taking it a bit slower and really taking in the whole driving experience and your scenery. And we've been very lucky today. It looks absolutely gorgeous out and it's been so much fun driving this car. The automatic gearbox does make it a lot easier to drive. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I first came to Twisted, I was given the keys to a 2.3 litre 110 again. It was a very similar car, but it was a manual, and I'm quite competent with cars. I'm quite good at getting in them and learning how to drive them straight away. I found that a little bit of a challenge. The automatic gearbox makes this so much more accessible. Like, genuinely, if you wanted a Defender and you've never driven one, and even if you're not that confident at driving a car in general, this is going to suit. You're going to be able to hop in this and drive it no problem whatsoever. It's got all the usual modern things such as cameras and sensors, so it makes it really easy to park. We've been turning it around in tracks today and on farmers' lanes and things, and it's been really easy to place on the road, really easy to turn around, and apart from a slight hiccup in Starbucks, not feeling like I had enough lock to get around it, genuinely usable. Performance, now that's what the V8 is all about. I am going to put my foot down and show you what this sounds like. Kicks down into third. And genuinely, it is fast. Now, I'm used to driving a lot of fast cars. My Porsche is quite quick. This is powerful. This really does hurt along the road really well. Like, Defenders shouldn't go this quick. By no means is this a sports car, but it can take corners with fairly good confidence that you're going to make it out the other side. But it also retains what I think is true about a Defender, and it's the most important thing about a Defender. You have to get in and actually drive it. You have to work at the car. You have to think about what's coming up. You can't just floor it into a bend and just think, I'm going to make it round that. You have to consider the weight that this car has, the ride height it has. You've got to think about the brakes, and you've really got to drive it, and I love that about it. It's really old school, and with that V8 soundtrack, it just sounds like Americana to me. It is unbelievably good fun. So an obvious direct competitor to this car, with it being the V8, is the G63 AMG. Now that is a very similar car, I'm not going to lie. I've never driven one, but from a price point, engine size, performance, and of course the way it looks, they are extremely similar. Why would you choose a Defender over a G-Wagon? Well, I just think this car oozes class. Where the G-Wagon is like a sledgehammer in its subtlety, this is more delicate. This car I would liken more to a barber jacket. You could wear that to the supermarket, but also to go out for a fancy meal. It'll fit in everywhere, and it's totally inoffensive. If you were using this as part of your work, turning up to someone's house to go and quote them something, they wouldn't think, well, he's going to charge me loads because he's got a very expensive car. It doesn't have that vibe about it. Yes, it looks big, it looks expensive, and it is, but I do think it has a more sincere, genuine approach than what a G-Wagon does. The other thing worth mentioning about the Twisted Defender over, say, a G-Wagon or even just a Range Rover is the level of personalisation. These cars can be customised to pretty much whatever you would like. Obviously there is a cost to that, but the workmanship that goes into it is next level. You can choose any possible combination of colour, any leather trim, seat combination. There was even a guy that had one converted so he could carry aeroplane fuel. The levels that Twisted go to deliver what the customer wants is insane, and it's what separates Twisted from any other car tuning company. A lot of you may be watching this thinking this is very much like an Overfinch or a Kahn Range Rover, and it's a totally different prospect. This is a totally bespoke service for very wealthy clients to come and have their dream put into reality. And that is what I absolutely love about Twisted, and the DNA of that just shines through in every single aspect of the car. Right, well, we've just got back with the Twisted Defender, and I must say it's been an awesome experience. The car has blown my mind on how good it is. The fit and finish, the performance, and the way this thing drives is just next level. The Twisted Defender is far more than a normal Defender. Most people would look at it and think it's just a highly modified version of a 110. It's anything but that. The effort Twisted go to keep what is Defender and make it anti-ordinary. It's been an awesome day here, and I just want to say a massive thank you to Twisted for letting me come and drive this car and bringing you along and showing you a full review of what Twisted is all about. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.